I almost gave up. I was one step away from disappearing. Then something happened. Something I never saw coming. Story starts now. There was a time when my name actually meant something. Not famous, not rich, just respected. I had a small apartment in Ohio, a job that bored me to sleep, and a routine that felt safe enough to live in. I worked at an insurance office processing claims. Same desk, same flickering light, same burnt coffee smell every morning. I didn't love it, but it paid rent. It kept the lights on, and most importantly, it kept my mother's treatment covered. That alone made the job worth it. Then one Monday morning, everything collapsed. My manager didn't even look up when I walked into his office. He just slid a paper across the desk and said the company was restructuring. My position was no longer necessary. No warning, no discussion. Just a polite way of saying, you don't matter here anymore. I walked out carrying my life in a cardboard box. At first, I told myself it was temporary. I updated my resume, sent applications, checked emails every hour. Week 1, nothing. Week 2, nothing. Week 3, rejection after rejection. Savings started melting like ice in the sun. My landlord's texts became less friendly. My phone became quieter. My friends became busier. Then the hospital called. My mother's treatment couldn't continue without updated insurance. I remember sitting in my car that night, rain hammering the windshield, hands gripping the wheel. I whispered, I don't know what to do anymore. And for the first time, I meant it. Days blurred together. I stopped shaving, stopped opening curtains, stopped checking the mailbox. Hope didn't leave dramatically. It just slipped out quietly, like it was never mine to begin with. One night I opened my laptop, not to apply for jobs, not to message anyone, just to write. I opened a blank document and typed, if anyone ever reads this, I tried. I stared at those words for a long time. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Almost. But something inside me whispered, pick it up, just once. So I answered. A calm female voice asked, is this Daniel Carter? I said yes. She said she was calling from the state review office about a claim I handled 2 years ago. My stomach dropped. I thought maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I was about to get blamed for something. Maybe things were about to get worse. Then she said something unexpected. She said, you flagged a fraudulent medical billing case that saved the department over $2 million. I remembered it instantly. A file no one cared about. I only checked it because I had nothing else to do that afternoon. She continued, we reopened the case during an audit. Your report prevented a major lawsuit. The director wants to meet you. I thought it was a prank. But the next morning, I walked into that government office wearing my last clean shirt. I expected a handshake, a thank you, maybe a letter. Instead, they offered me a job. Federal Fraud Investigation Analyst. Higher salary, full benefits, immediate medical coverage. My head spun. The director leaned forward and said, we need people who notice details when nobody's watching. You did. I didn't remember trying that hard. I just remembered doing my job, because I had nothing better to do. I walked out holding an official offer letter. That same evening, I called the hospital. My mother's treatment resumed the next week. For the first time in months, I breathed. But that wasn't the twist. The twist came later. 2 weeks into the new job, I was reviewing old fraud files when I saw a familiar name. My former manager. The same man who laid me off. At first I thought it was coincidence, but the deeper I dug, the stranger it looked. He had approved multiple suspicious claims, ignored warning signs, signed off on payments that didn't add up. I stayed late that night reviewing documents. Then another name appeared, a medical billing company, one that had ties to the same fraud case I once flagged. My heart started pounding. The next day, I submitted the findings quietly. Within a month, the investigation exploded. Turns out the restructuring that cost me my job wasn't random. The company had been quietly covering internal fraud. They were cutting positions to hide the trail. My manager wasn't just careless, he was involved. And my old report, the one I did out of boredom, became the key evidence. He was arrested 3 months later. The news barely mentioned my name, but I knew. If I hadn't checked that file years ago, if I hadn't picked up that phone call, if I had quit one night earlier, none of this would have happened. My life wouldn't have turned. My mother wouldn't have continued treatment. I wouldn't have discovered the truth. I realized something terrifying then. The night I thought my story was ending was actually the moment it was about to begin. Life didn't save me with a miracle. It saved me with timing, with patience, with one small decision to not give up yet. The end. Moral of the story. Sometimes life doesn't reward the strongest moment. It rewards the moment you refuse to quit. Because the call that changes everything usually comes when you're about to stop answering.